Hello everyone and welcome to the first plan with me that I've done in absolutely ages. So yeah, I've not filmed one of these in so long. Various reasons, but which some of them we'll get into in this video, I think. I'm going to give you like a full, big, whole update of what's been happening really over the summer in this video while we do this plan with me. I'm planning out my September this month in my planner, which is the last month I have free. Actually, I need a new one. That's going to be exciting. So yeah, I'm planning to plan out September, and I'm using our brand new collection, which is called the Autumn Bakery. The Autumn Bakery was its working title actually that kind of just stuck. I was going to call it something else or try and think of something else, but it kind of makes sense. It's all about stepping into this very autumnal world, and as a couple of people pointed out, it is that lovely sort of teal and orange colour scheme, which is exactly the same as the upcoming Taylor Swift album, which was not planned. Yeah, I was kind of like, when I saw that, the reveal, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of the same. So hopefully you should be able to use it as well for if you want to do like any journal entries on listening to the new album. It will be absolutely perfect for that. We're trying to track down or get some orange foil to maybe do like a limited edition run of some foiled stickers, which would sort of match in perfectly. TBC on that. We did get some orange foil, but it kind of feels more red. I'm not sure if it's quite the right one, but anyway, that's a slightly digress there from what I was telling you about, which is this new collection. I actually started working on this, I think it was like early spring, so from time to time I will, like if I'm in the middle of working on a collection or just in between and I've got some time in an evening I want to draw, but I don't want to draw necessarily to sell, because sometimes that either you're kind of bored with the stuff that you're working on, or you're stuck, or you just want to try out some different things. So this is where this collection started from. So I was like, right, I'm going to play around with pumpkins, and I started illustrating pumpkins and coffee cups and sort of baked treats. And I thought, you know what, maybe this might come in useful later in the year, maybe it won't, but we'll just see. And it did turn out really well, and it came in really useful. So yeah, it's been in the works for quite a long time, but I love creating for autumn. I love generally that change of seasons when you start to, or you get to work on something new, or you sort of unlock a whole new kind of range of colours to work with. So it's always really fun to play around with more autumnal colours. Yeah, I do love this season. It's definitely my favourite season. Anyway, so yeah, I'm using this collection as we go through. I am doing one of the classic layouts here, the flags down one side and numbers in another. I left my tweezers at my mum and dad's house, so I am I actually found this really difficult because I'm not used to sticking them down with my fingers, which everything was getting in the way. I felt I had to take my ring off. I was like, oh, how do you do this without tweezers? Because I've been using tweezers for so long. I just felt like suddenly my fingers, my hands were just so bulky and always getting in the way. So yeah, that's why you'll see me sticking down things and taking them up quite a lot. I did cut quite a bit out of me trying to place a few stickers. It just seemed to take me absolutely ages. Anyway, we've had quite a few bits of drama over the summer. Where to even begin? Well, I'm gonna start with something that was just fun. So actually, no, I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to start at the very beginning. So the biggest change that we made this year or over the summer was stopping our monthly sticker subscription. So I did do a bit of a post and some videos about this at the time, but it was a decision or an idea I first thought of about 1 a.m. when I just finished the Up in the Sky collection, and I just thought, we kind of can't keep kind of going on this. It was a really big decision, but I'm one of those people that once I've decided something, I kind of just have to implement it and go for it. And I did start to work on the next subscription for August, which I might bring that back at some point. It's sort of, I've kind of archived it, but I was kind of struggling with it a bit, and I was thinking at this point, I really think we need to make some changes, and it was a good thing that we did do that, partly because a lot has happened over the summer that would have meant the subscription would have been pretty difficult to do, but it has already freed my mind up for other things and for expanding in different ways. So I want to look at how we can keep something fresh coming in most months, but I think not having that commitment to doing it for a subscription has really helped me. I don't do this full time. I still work 4 days a week, or over sort of 3.5 days a week for someone else as well. So it is a balance. So yes, it's one of those things really. So we did Stationery Fest at the end of July, which was amazing. We had such a fun time. It was such a challenge because we've not done anything like that before. So it was a total building from scratch our stand, and we learned so much throughout that process. And it was one of the first times I'd seen all of the designs together in one place, and it was so interesting, like hearing so many people come by and be like, oh, like, there's definitely like a theme and a colour palette, and I hadn't really thought about that before, because usually I'm like, right, these are the colours that I'm doing for this month, and then these are the colours that I'm doing for next month. I'm always trying to make it different and fresh, so I never really think about how everything looks together. And a couple of collections did sort of stand out a little bit, like, well, do they kind of really fit? But overall, I think everything looked really good. I was so pleased with how it looked, and it was amazing to meet people in the flesh. So many people, so many other amazing, talented small business owners as well. It was so great to talk to them, and so great to talk to everyone who came visit the stand and see how people reacted to different things. It was great. It was just such a good experience. So hopefully we'll get to do that again, and maybe do a few more events. I am doing the Planners Department event next year. There are still some tickets available for that. That is in Leeds, and it's going to be another great event. I think lots of workshops, activities going on. We're going to have a stall there, so definitely check that out. I'll put a link in the description for this video if you want to find out more about that. So, next thing, so after we got back from Stationery Fest, my mum actually did have a bit of an accident and ended up in hospital, needing some major surgery on her hip. She is much better now. We're at this point sort of 6 weeks post-surgery, and she's doing amazing. She's absolutely smashing it. Like, she's been so committed to her recovery, and I'm so proud of how well she's doing. And she is now back to work, but obviously at the time it was really difficult. Was obviously worried about her, judging work, judging hospital, juggling work, juggling hospital visits, and my main priority for the business side was just keeping things ticking over, keeping orders going out. So it did mean that, and this is really why there hasn't really been any new releases since the July collection, has been mainly that, really, just because even when you do have the time, when you've got all of that going on, like, you're just not in the mindset to really design anything. So it took me quite a long time to even get my own sort of mental energy back up, to be able to design again. So it's been quite an experience, and I'm so pleased that she's okay now. She's back to work and everything. But I'm so pleased that she's okay now, back to work, but I was just so pleased that she's okay, and that she's back to work. So yeah, because we're partners, we're a team. So so that also being said, it did sort of prompt us to do a bit of a project, which was, and it's a bit of a big change, and I want to take some time to tell you about it, because you might have noticed some things are out of stock on the website. So previously we've always just mainly made things to order, so we will we just put pretty much unlimited stock on everything on the website, and then made things to order as they came in. But we've talked for a long time about moving away from that. But when you have like hundreds and hundreds of designs in different fall colours. How do you even start? And it was never really a priority. And when Mum was in hospital and I was doing the orders, and when she came out again, I just felt like this is the time to change it, because we couldn't really go on the way we were. Like sometimes it would take like a really long time to put together an order, because if you had to make everything, it could take nearly a day sometimes just to do one, if you had to make everything, foil everything, and it's quite an efficient way of doing things as well. It's not the fastest way to get orders out of the door. So we decided that we were going to really go for this. So it was a huge project. We had to count everything that we had to log it in the website, and then I found a way to link the stock to our Etsy shop, so that was accurate and live, because that was a really important part of it. That had to be done per product, so we have 400 products on Etsy, so I had to individually map and match each product, and we've just got hundreds and hundreds of designs, and once you start this, you've got to commit to it and do it. So we committed to it, we got through it, took a long time. It was one of those things that it took ages. It was pretty sort of mind-numbing, sort of going through and counting what you had and then putting it in, making sure it's accurate. It does mean, though, that we have got a bit of a restocking job on our hands, which we are working through. We had some slight problems with one of our sticker suppliers, which has held up that. It is sorted now. That was another 2 weeks of absolute stress. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. I won't bore you with all of that drama. But it's been quite a process and quite a journey over the summer. But I think when we're done, it's going to make things so much easier. Like already, it's made things so much more efficient, which means we can get orders out that a little bit quicker. We say at the moment 1 to 3 days, and we always say 1 to 3, aim ourselves 1 to 2, but I always try and think, like, ideally we just get stuff out next day. That's kind of what we always aim for, and I think with making this change, like, that should be a heck of a lot easier to do. So if you do want something and you see it's out of stock on the website, drop me a message, because we can, I can bump it up the list of items to restock. Obviously it takes time to make everything, and we've got a list that we're going through and prioritizing different things, prioritizing what we know you guys like the most. So if there is anything that you would like, just let me know, and I can get that sorted for you. So that's kind of that. And then in the midst of all that too, we've had quite a lot of changes to the way that we ship out to the US. So I'm just in the process at the moment of updating our Etsy shop so that we can send out to the US again. I did have to temporarily suspend US orders just because of the changes to how the tariffs work. So we are required to pay now a customs duty when we send things out. So it is, the way it's been done is better for example, it's a lot easier than the way we have to manage it would have to manage it for the EU if we shipped out there. I still don't ship to the EU because it's such a faff. But it does mean that if you are in the US, you will see our products going up a little bit. So goods coming from the UK to the US are going to be subjected to a 10% tariff, and it doesn't matter how much you order or what your order size is or what you're ordering. We are lucky, we make everything in the UK. We do not import it from other countries. So things we make, so pretty much everything is just 10%, which I know it's annoying, like we'd rather not be charging it, but we can't I can't pay it. So I can't pay it myself. So we are going to be implementing that, getting our Etsy shop up and running, and then I'll have a look at how we implement the same thing on Shopify. But like I said, please bear with, it's taking a little bit of time just because it's something new to learn, and I want to make sure we get it right. My anything to do with customs is always a bit of a want to make sure I get it right, don't want to get it wrong, and have anyone have a, for example, if someone was like, oh, we haven't done something right, and then the customer ends up getting a bill or something, that's my worst case scenario. I want to make sure that doesn't happen and we do it properly and do it right. So I haven't spoken a lot about this on socials previously, just because I wanted to get a plan together before I started bombarding people with information, because it is can be a little bit complicated, this stuff. But yeah, I think we've pretty much sorted what we're gonna do. So yeah, I think that's a kind of like a rundown of everything that's happened over the summer, starting with, like I said, making this major change away from doing the monthly subscription to doing something else. So I'm hoping the rest of the year we've got some things in the pipeline. There's a little, I'd say, clue to what the next collection is going to be called, actually in this one. So I'm going to start this a little bit more, because I think it's quite fun to put little, sort of almost like little mini Easter eggs in the illustrations, and start linking together some of these worlds that we create each month in these different collections. So see if you spot it. See if you can pick out some clues for what's coming. But yeah, I'm hoping to have lots more to show you in the coming months. Kind of get back on track, get back into our routines again, and I suppose just sort of try out this sort of new way of working, which has been, you know, a little bit challenging going forward, because, well, has been challenging for all the reasons I just talked about, but also just because having that monthly subscription gave me it was like a real structure of, you know, it was monthly deadlines that you had to hit. And ultimately, it just meant that I wasn't really doing anything else, which is one of the big reasons for doing, you know, for sort of looking at this slightly differently. But it's definitely been an adjustment going from doing that to having like all of this freedom, you know, almost like too much freedom. Like, oh, what am I doing with myself now? So so that's us in a nutshell. I am going to try and get back up to doing more of these, more journaling videos, more like tutorials, more inspiration, and just look out for all of that coming. As always, let me know in the comments if there are things that you would like to see, like to hear about. Maybe we could do like a different topic of discussion, or you could ask, you know, we could do like a Q&A in some of these videos. So any burning questions that you've got, drop them below, and we can maybe do a bit of video around that next time for the next sort of plan or journal with me. And thank you so much, as always, for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you some inspiration, and I'll see you all again very soon.